Our meeting did start at 7 o'clock. We went right into that wonderful performance between them. Like I said, just due to some scheduling, we wanted to make sure that we could fit them in. And as Marty was alluding, that one of their famous gigs is the St. Patrick's Day breakfast annual. They're a huge part of that tradition, and there's a number of members of our community that participate. We're going to go jumping right into public comment. Mr. Kemp, I know that it's been a little while, but I know that there may be some stuff on your mind, and do you have something that you wanted to talk to the board about tonight?
No, I think I'm just here to listen and
Okay.
to watch and to learn, and I've spoken with Meg, and I'm speaking with other peoples tomorrow. It's in reference to the egg farm project on the Wallace Hill Road, and just concerned and making sure that the town looks out for everyone's interest, and all the I's and all the T's are crossed.
Yep.
And just here to watch.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I just want to make sure. Okay. In regards to what Mr. Kemp brought up, I do want to note that obviously, unless people are asleep, aware of the project that is moving through the system that is outlined, and I just want to note that I've talked with a number of constituents at length about some of their concerns, and I really applaud Trevor in particular for spending a lot of time and energy trying to at least inform individuals about what that process looks like, zoning, codes, the planning process, etc. And if people have questions, they can certainly be directed to me, or they can be directed to Trevor. I think Trevor has a level of expertise that can help to address some of those concerns.
And for those that don't know, Trevor's the head of the planning department. So.
Isn't there going to be a public hearing?
He has
Yeah, there'll be some more additional information that will be coming out. I won't go at length into this, but certainly want to, again, inform folks of a current status update. I did take another trip up to Ellenburg. It's becoming not a regular visit, but a visit nonetheless that's important to continue to communicate with my counterpart, Jason Dezan, who's the supervisor up in Ellenburg. We are continuing to move forward working with Connie Goddard, who is the receiver for the mausoleum. A paperwork has been put forth to the Division of Cemeteries to begin, I mean, there's many different ways you could say chapter one of many chapters, or a status to begin servicing that facility with some of the fixes that need to occur at the facility. We did post a new update on the Town of Plattsburgh's website. That is where we're cataloging updates as they come in. It is important to know, though, that still this is in the receiver's hands. We anticipate that going through to the month of September. Nothing gives us any reason that it shouldn't go through September, possibly longer, depending, if other things develop. I can say that I have become very, very appreciative of the Assemblywoman and the Senator for all of their hard work and helping us making the appropriate connections in Albany. Jason and I will be working with folks to make a trip down to Albany at some point as well, to meet with some folks. It may include members of the Division of Cemetery, it may include the Senator, the Assemblywoman, and others. So more to come from that. But if you do interact with people in the community, encourage them to go to the Town of Plattsburgh's website, encourage them to go to that tab, get the most up-to-date information. And also, as a reminder too, as you're directing people to our town website to sign up for the newsletter, we are coming up to roughly 200 people, and once we get there, we'll start to put out some e-communications and status updates, etc. So that's really the update on the mausoleum front. I'm gonna bounce around just slightly here. One of the draft resolutions relates to Wanda Rasko. Wanda Rasko has been a long-time member boards. And I give many thanks to members of all these boards. They're volunteers, and I think that people often don't have a sense for that. And Wanda, as a longtime member, had a certain level of expertise and interest in serving on that. And then speaking with Brian, who worked closely with her, he was very, very appreciative of her willingness to commit a lot of time and energy. So that will be a need to fill, but I just wanted it to be said in my report that I'm just appreciative of all of our volunteers. And that goes all the way through our recreation programs. You know, our town continues to be very fortunate to have a number of volunteers that step up and help out with programs. So, you'll see a number of draft resolutions. We have 4 minutes. We also have a remaining refund for Heritage Heights for asphalt. And then we have a request for a proposal for a financial advisor. These next 2 items, the one following the bond county services, these are to allow us to give possible consideration if we want to advance the capital plan. These items will be helpful in navigating through that process. So Patrick has been working to present some draft materials. So please take a look at that. If you have any questions, please reach out to Patrick. He was on vacation last week, and I know he's been in the thick of things since he's been back with a number of items. And then of course we have.
Are you looking for any commentary at this time?
Yeah, you're more than welcome to put some stuff out.
On the introduction, where you were asking for experience,
Mm-hmm.
I felt that and I don't mean to say you were asking for experience, the document is asking
Sure.
for whoever applies to cite their experience. I felt that the experience requested is too brief a period of time. I would suggest that the language be modified so that the proposing firms must have experience in providing financial advisory services to New York municipal bond issuers for both negotiated and competitive transaction closing at least during the period January 1st, 2007 to May 31st, 2016. The reason that I make a recommendation of that period of time, which is almost a 10-year period of time, is I think by having that breadth of service, you stand a much better chance that the person has worked in that bond market through a period of time where they have seen when bonds were performing at their best and bonds were performing less than at their best. I think when somebody makes a suggestion from 2013 to 2016, it's a very recent performance cycle, and it's not a representative performance cycle of bonds performances.
We can make some
Do
language
you
adjustment.
feel like that would diminish the number that would be able to apply?
It might have some bearing on who could apply, but I think you would get a better representation of the experience level of people if you had that. I wouldn't be comfortable with somebody who's been in the bond, only been in the bond market for 3 years, being a person. Now granted, you don't have to, I mean, one of the things that's gonna happen when it comes to selection time is if that's what you're looking at is somebody who's only been there for 3 years, that would affect your, it would affect my willingness to vote for that person. But I think you do better by,
Bernie, Marty, wow, sorry.
Should be.
And I don't know to say if I was thinking of Bernie Sanders or Bernie Vanessa tonight,
Either
so.
way.
either way.
You know, when I look at this, when RFPs go out, one of my, and maybe we can, if you have some thoughts on language, I mean, certainly this, we're not voting on this tonight.
Yeah,
But I think of a firm that hires a senior veteran, okay, who has been doing something for, bonds for a significant amount of time. But their firm itself may be a very young firm, okay? I wanna make sure that the language captures the experience of the individual or people from the company. Because there's a number of reasons why, you may wanna go with somebody that's been with one company for 25 years, they leave or they start their own company,
yep.
and they're now doing some really remarkable things. On the other side of it is, as I said, there could be a number of reasons that the person has a number of extra certificates, experiences, was top of their field and whatever. So while I would probably tend to lean personally towards the individual that has as much experience with that, I would also want the allowance for us not to kind of paint ourselves in a corner where you only get a couple of people that are applying, and maybe the language is out preference, towards X number of years of experience. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that would be under the proposal content too, where it says, on the second bullet, that qualifications, experience of any staff members that will serve as advisors for the transaction, description of function each will perform as far as proposal content and in terms of when we're making that decision too. So, in a sense, it's in there a little bit, but I understand what you're saying. Definitely you want somebody that has some experience over that period of time.
Yeah, given the magnitude of the project that's been contemplated, I think Marty's comment is definitely warranted in terms of performance metrics and, in fact, the track record of that particular firm's been doing.
So I'd be very interested in, think about this on how you might, propose some language that captures the spirit of it, but also, because a lot of times when individuals are looking at, RFPs, that first introduction is the piece that kind of triggers it, so. Other thoughts and opinions on either? Going further, you'll also see that there is, we'll have the resignation for Wanda Ragsdale. Any items for committees that need to be addressed for this evening? All right, at this time, I would entertain a motion to go into executive session.
I will make a motion to go into executive session. Proposed pending or current litigation with EPS and collective bargaining negotiations for Article 14 of Civil Service Law.
Is there a second? All right.
Before we adjourn, I want to make one more comment. Is that okay?
Yeah, well, I can put a push pin in it.
Sorry. Just to thank Mr. Kemp for coming, because he recognizes that there's a potential problem in his neighborhood, and he just wants to be part of the solution rather than the problem, and he really truly cares about his community, so thanks for coming.
Thank you.
And we'll be coming out of an executive session, we just don't know how long it's gonna be, so you're welcome to stay or head home.
So you're not adjourning?
No.
No, we're not adjourning the meeting.
Actually, you can just leave after executive session, you don't even have to.
Well, I think the wording was, she wanted to make sure it wasn't
Okay.
before we.
Before you
so that
adjourn,
he'd still be
exactly.
here
Before we get-
when
Before we
said
get in the weeds, there is a motion on the floor, can I get a roll call?
Okay, Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Mark Manning,
Yes.
Mike LaFave,
Yes.
Barb Heber,
Yes.
Wayne County.
Yes, and we're gonna go into executive session at 7:21.
And hopefully it's not long, but.
Tom. You seconded it, Tom.
Yes, I did.
No, she was just asking.
Should I say it again?
No,
Yeah.
Who knows what I said?
Mike, anyone?
Excuse me, Marty? How's
I
Hannah
don't,
doing?
I wouldn't, I mean, I don't think it's gonna be that.
Haven't heard a word? I mean, there's a big splash in the newspaper. I thought it would be all over by
I
now.
haven't heard the status.
But she did have it, didn't she?
Can't say we
Oh.
will.
As far as you know.
If you don't have anything in writing.
Seemed like it was imminent.
It's supposed to be Thursday.
Well, maybe